Hi, my name is Velhika and I am an actress, and today I wanted to give you guys my overview on how to start a career in acting. And this is going to be my perspective, what I think. Everybody you ask is going to give you a slightly different answer, and I am definitely not a celebrity or an all-time expert, and I've said this before, I'm not a replacement for an acting coach or a manager or an agent or anything like that. If you have the ability to contact an actual agent and get feedback from them, contact a manager or some type of consultant. I have a friend, Jackie Dallas, who has a business on giving you actual advice. I'll put her information in the description if you want to contact her. But this is just me, Belgica, that has a YouTube channel that talks about acting and does do some acting. I'm not an expert, so I'm just gonna give you my experience, my thoughts, my advice. So if you wanna hear them, like this video, subscribe to my channel. First thing is first, you guys, of course, please, when you want to get into acting, don't automatically be like, where are the auditions? How can I become famous? If you wanna become famous, do something crazy, go get on like TikTok, make a viral video, do something scandalous, because through acting, it's not going to be an overnight thing. So for acting, please do some training. And it's going to sound crazy for some of you because you're going to say, well, I don't have the money for it, or I live in a country where we don't have acting schools, or I just can't do it because my parents don't allow me, or my family doesn't support that, or whatever it may be. You can learn to act and do some training at home. I'm not saying that's the only way you should do it, but if you have very, very limited resources, you can definitely do it at home. Learn how to act, get some kind of training, train yourself, film monologues on your camera, watch them back, and see how you can improve. And maybe if you have a friend who's willing to look at your auditions and give you feedback, I would be happy to give you any feedback. I recently posted a video on giving you monologue feedback, so go check that out, and you can comment a monologue you would like for me to give you feedback on. Again, as a friend, I'm just offering it. I'm not a professional acting coach. There's different books you can read about different acting techniques, so you can see how other people have approached acting in the past, how some schools approach acting and what technique they teach. Definitely reading plays, getting monologues from those plays, watching movies, seeing what other people do, other successful actors do, other actors that you enjoy, seeing what their acting is like. Definitely first thing is learn how to act. If you're interested in a career in acting or interested in picking it up as a hobby, first thing is to learn how to act. There's a lot of discipline behind acting, and I always say that, but for me specifically, there's always like a feeling I get when that sounds kind of weird, but there's always a feeling I get when I perform a monologue really well, or deliver a line really well, or a scene. I just feel very comfortable in it, and I really get it, and I feel, those words as if they were mine, and it's a really fun career, I think, and really hard. If you do have some resources, I would suggest investing a little bit and seeing if you like it. So an ad I see a lot is for the masterclass. I've never taken it. I've never seen reviews about it, but I would love to take some kind of acting masterclass and review it and make a video about it. There's a lot of people who are willing to have you do video call classes for acting, so that's definitely another option. And then if you are able to go to a school, of course, for an acting class, you can go to a university for acting, community college, or there are different acting classes that you can go to that teach different techniques. So here in LA, there's so many, but if you just Google acting classes in my area, if you don't want to be invested in an acting class for a long period of time and just want maybe one day, there are also some classes that can be 4 hours, 2 hours. So there's all kinds of options. You don't have to sign up for a university like I did and study acting for 4 years. So those are just some of the ways that you can learn how to act. I'm just giving you a little bit of everything just so this video isn't 5 hours long. Okay, so after you have figured out how you're going to get training, where can you get experience? Because experience is definitely going to teach you a lot about acting, and it's going to teach you a lot about being a professional person. Because people, let me tell you, people love working with you if you are easy to work with and if you're good with direction and if you arrive on time and you're polite. Like, that definitely counts. Some people get away with being some people do get away with being really rude because they're super, super talented. But now let me tell you that if I was a casting director and there was somebody who I didn't like because they were unprofessional, but so talented, I would not hire them because there's so many talented people out there. There's bound to be somebody who's respectful, is on time, and is very talented. In order to get experience with absolute no experience, I would suggest to make sure you have some kind of resume and headshot. Even if you don't have any experience, you can still do a resume and you will be able to present yourself professionally, and more people will take you seriously and be able to actually consider you for their project. I have made a video on resumes for beginners, so go ahead and watch that. And as far as a headshot, you can literally have somebody take a photo of you on your phone if you don't want to fully invest yet on professional headshots. And again, this is just for the very, very beginning to get you started, to allow you to get an acting profile. Because if you sign up for something like Backstage and you don't have any photos, how is anybody going to even consider you for a casting call where they don't even know what you look like? And what you look like is very essential for acting, because they don't want to cast like, you know, a 5-year-old girl if they're looking for a 40-year-old professor, right? So they at least need to know, okay, what do they look like? What age can they play, etc. So getting a beginner's resume and headshot is really important so you can start sending your information out for some experience. Because even for theater, when you apply, you do need some kind of headshot and resume if you're going to go audition, or if you're just going to email them and say, hey, I'm new, I would love to work with you. Do you have any opportunities? I'm willing to, learn. Same thing with short films or maybe content creators who are looking to have you on their videos, and you can let them know like, hey, I would love to do this for free. It's a learning experience for both of us, whatever it may be. Another great place is a university or college near you. A lot of them that have some kind of film program don't have enough actors or don't have the specific actors that they need. So there you have some kind of open casting call. And so I would suggest getting on a casting site. A lot of casting sites allow you to do a month-to-month thing where you can do it for a month, and then if you're like, oh, this is too expensive or I'm not really finding things, you can just cancel it and maybe do like 1 month of this casting site, 1 month of that casting site. So that's how you can start getting experience. And once you do have some experience, the next thing to do is to update your resume and start thinking about how you can improve your headshots. There are a lot of affordable options for headshots, and I ended up doing a lot of my headshots through my friends or just through photographers that I knew. And sometimes we would do, a trade for photo, a TFP, which could also be an option. Of course, be very careful of scammers or creepers, but you can definitely get a better headshot than just a cell phone headshot if you are able to do a TFP. And then the next step after that, of course, would be to actually pay for a headshot. And some places also do better rates for groups. So if you have maybe a whole acting class that wants to get headshots, you can figure out if you can get a group rate, and that would save you a lot of money. Especially if you live in LA, there's this thing called the headshot truck, which is super, super affordable. I also did a video on LA casting and how they have 15-minute sessions where you can get a headshot, and check that video out too, because if you're in LA and you have a premium account with LA casting, you can get free headshots twice a year. Once you have done a few gigs and have a resume, have some acting training and a decent headshot, this is the time where I would feel comfortable approaching agencies and seeing if they can represent me. I didn't feel comfortable approaching an agent without a resume, a decent headshot experience, but I know there are people out there who are like, okay, I want to get into acting. Let me just audition for these agencies and see if they can help me, just start my career from nothing, which could possibly be it. But you would have to go to an agency that is smaller and willing to work with complete newbies, or maybe in a smaller market where they mostly have commercial stuff, print stuff that you don't need a lot of training and a lot of discipline in order to, pose or just walk around and touch a product. And there are a lot of talent agency companies who allow you to submit online. Usually they'll ask you to upload a resume, a few photos, a little bit about yourself, where you live, do you have a full-time job, is acting your full-time job, what do you want to be represented for. There are other ways to submit to agencies, but honestly, I've never done any other way other than online. So once I do that, I will update you on what other ways you can and should submit to agencies. But for now, all I know and all I have done is submit online. So that's what I'm going to tell you. A self-tape audition setup. If you've been subscribed to my channel, you've probably seen at least one of my videos about self-tape auditions. If you haven't, I'm going to link the playlist for that. Having a good self-tape audition setup at home is very, very important because nowadays so many auditions are self-tapes, which means that you are going to be filming that audition at home. Having a self-tape audition setup is essential to being able to deliver these auditions. And if you're lucky, they will give you 3 days to film it. If you are a student or have a full-time job, sometimes that's really hard because you need to shower, you need to do your laundry, you need to eat, you need to cook. You know, there's all of these other things that you do other than your full-time job. So it can be hard to be like, oh my goodness, where am I going to film my audition this time? Am I going to have time? And when I first started filming self-tape auditions, I would of course spend a really big chunk of time preparing the actual audition, but setting up a good place to put my phone on so it wouldn't fall in the middle of my audition, seeing where my apartment, I had good lighting, like all of that took me so long and was so frustrated. It just put me in like a negative space. And you don't want to be frustrated and annoyed and sweaty when you're going to go film an audition. So for me, I bought a tripod, I got a ring light, I have some lights now, and I have a setup that I always have up so that whenever there's an audition, I can just turn everything on, put my phone on the tripod and film. Setting up used to take me longer than actually filming my audition. And now that I just have a setup, it's so easy. And now I can be like, oh, I have something to film. Cool. Let me learn it. Let me film it. And that's the only things I really have to worry about, because the most frustrating part, setting everything up and making sure everything looks good and nothing's too distracting, like it's such a time saver to just know that that is all done. So I would definitely suggest figuring out your own self-tape audition setup, planning out where in your home you can be able to film without it being super crazy. Again, I have lots of videos on self-tape auditions, so you can definitely go watch those for more information. That's a general overview of how to start a career in acting if you don't have any experience, and you know, your journey along the way. Again, this is just my perspective, my opinions, my experiences, but after you have done all of that, you're just gonna keep repeating it. You're just gonna keep filming auditions, keep going to auditions, finding an agent, maybe find a new agent, get more training. That's another thing. You're always going to be getting training. You're always going to be updating your resume, updating your headshot. It's not really an easy thing. If you truly want to be an actor or you truly want to make this your hobby, then take into consideration the amount of hard work that it takes. And if you're just like, I don't really want to work that hard for it, I don't want to do it, then figure out another way. For me, I have loved having a YouTube channel. I started my YouTube channel because after I graduated college, a lot of my friends who were still in school would ask me like, hey, I hear you talking about this thing called SF casting. What is that? How did you find out about it? Or how did you get your agent? Or how did you get that job? I see that you're working a lot, whatever it was. I would have to like message them back so long. And one day I was like, oh, I should film it. And then I could just share it with my friends every time they ask. And then that turned into just sharing it with everybody. And I feel like a lot of people find these videos helpful because I'm not selling you anything. You know, it's not like I have an acting class that I'm like, hey, come to my acting class and this is right and everything else is wrong. Like, no, I'm just giving you my opinion. I'm giving you my best advice. I'm wishing you the best. I'm trying to help you avoid any scams, and I just want you to be successful and I want you to be happy. So yeah, that's my little spiel on starting a career in acting. And let me know if you want any other videos, if you have any other video suggestions, or if you found this helpful. I would really appreciate it if you subscribed, if you liked this video and left me a comment, especially if you want to get featured on my next video, because I feature a channel at the end of every video. And this is today's feature. Thank you so much for watching. Go check them out.